won their matches. If I'm reading the stats correctly, currently, oh no, actually, University of Oregon is actually down a game. They're 0-1. On the other hand, UBC, they're 1-0.
My boys, my
Mm.
boys. No bias, no bias.
Yeah, we're gonna try to keep it as regular, calm, unbiased as possible. But you know how these things get.
Yeah, us Canadians are quite nationalistic, I must say.
Very politically patriotic.
Yep, exactly.
And of course, I expect to see that come out in the match whenever UBC gets a kill. I want to hear something Canadian. I don't. What does it even mean? What is the sound of something Canadian? Is that like the sound of a moose?
Are you saying that every time they get a kill, I just have to drop like a Canadian word or term or something like that? Like first
Yeah.
blood, it's poutine. Second blood, I just say a bunch of times. Is that what it's gonna be?
Hey.
I can make it Canadian for you if you want. I'll just throw a boots in there. They're a boot to go for blue. I can do that.
Blue. Yeah, that looks like they're mounting up to go take down the dragon. They're a bunch of Mounties, considering how far they're running. Okay, that was bad.
Us Canadians play with passion, though, and we're gonna
They do.
see it in this game. Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to a very passionate match. Now we do have our first sets of bans coming out so far. Nidalee and Tristana being banned away from University of British Columbia. Maokai being taken away from University of Oregon. So nothing too crazy coming out so far. No crazy targeted bans that I'm aware of. Nothing weird like the zillion we saw in our last match.
Yep.
Oh, and
I was gonna say, I think Zillion
wow.
is a pretty standard ban. Teams are starting to learn just how good he is, especially being played in regions like OGN and the LCS more recently as well. But these are pretty much the default bans so far. Maybe we'll see a target pick for the last one, but you're right, nothing too crazy yet. Standard stuff.
Yeah, and of course it has to be as soon as I say there's no Zillion on the pick, instantaneously banned away. And I was just too perfect through time and space. They heard me.
Yep.
And they said, you know what, Caster, we got to make you look bad. And they did exactly that.
You're just like a couple seconds ahead of all of us. That's what it is.
That's what it is. I'm prescient. I can see into the future, and that's all that it is.
And that is the final ban. So, yep, the Kazakhs and the Morgana coming out. And Firepower has first pick again with the Lucian. That's possible. I think we've seen that in just about every single game, first pick so far, minus, I think that one.
The very first one with the Orianna was the first.
Yeah.
That was a little odd.
That was a little bit odd. But did they win that game, actually, with the first pick Orianna?
I don't think. No, well, I don't remember. They were on the blue side. Did blue side win? That was URI. No, Connecticut won.
Too much League of Legends for me. My brain's getting all League.
Oh yeah, because URI got the double first blood, but then they ended up losing them.
Right.
I don't know. We'll check.
No, because the Lux had an she DC'd at
She
the
disconnected,
end,
so it was the Orianna that won. First pick Orianna. Memory, right?
Yep.
What are we talking about? I really hope that Didgerger locks in that Draven. If that's primetime Draven, then I would be a very happy caster.
It would be an homage to you. Oh, the Alistar.
And the switch out. Again, the Prescience. As soon as the statement comes out, just changes.
I gotta talk about this Alistar pick. He's so strong, both as support and in the top lane. He's probably the most ridiculous champion in the game right now. He is just so strong, such a strong laner. Even if he's behind, he still does his job. Probably going to be a support Alistar because we do have the Rise with the TP, and mostly we do see Rise top. So yeah, no, it's pretty bold for UO to really leave Alistar open for UBC unless they have some sort of plan to answer back with.
Yeah, it's a very, very fast pickup. And though he did get patched in 4.16 to remove his double tap with the knock-up attack while the enemy is flying away, or I guess that's the knockback,
Yep.
He's not quite as strong as he was a while ago, though he still can run an excellent linebacker composition. And I think that's going to be I'm going to call it right now, it's going to be a protect the hypercarry composition. Likely to see a Kog'Maw, possibly a Tristana, maybe even something crazy like a Vayne come out, just to sort of stack up all of that damage on that one champion and then run everything to keep him alive. So Rise going to be taken in the top lane. Hazed Lol locking in a Gragas. I like that Gragas pick. There's a lot of flexibility in that.
Yeah, I really like it. It's possible that it's a jungle Gragas, which is pretty strong. He's also very strong in the top lane and is good against the Rise too, because he'll never be in his position where he can't farm. Obviously, rushing that Lich Bane early is really good. And then also Lil Yef locking in that Janna. If he can play that well, which I assume he can, it is a very good counter to the Alistar. He can, if he times his tornado properly, he's able to actually interrupt the headbutt from Alistar, preventing him from getting in and doing his combo the same way that it works against a Flay against either a Leona or a Jarvan, like we saw Special do famously however many months ago. Um, he can actually also interrupt the Corki, which was just locked in, and the Vi. Janet's a fantastic pick here. I'm just really excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential ranged disruption coming out from Lilief. We'll have to keep an eye on how she tries to play out her laning phase. If she decides to try to go for harass with the early slow and lane dominance, abusing that early movement speed bonus because of her passive, or if she decides to try to max her shield first for additional attack damage on Lucian to help him double tap his opponents down. Now, we do have a Xerath being hovered over by I'm Chase. And we just saw a Xerath in the game before this that worked to incredible effect. I believe it was Mr. Flaccid did exceptionally well. I think he walked out of that game with like a 9 KDA.
He did play really well, and I think a lot of that honestly had to do with just the way that his whole team played. They were really good at just moving around the map and taking advantage of their power spikes. I think it might be a little bit different this game just because UBC has so much dive, which is so good against a Xerath, the Alistar, the Vi, and even the Corki, able to really get in there and pump out a lot of burst damage. And there's the cow delivery system. There it is. So the Orianna locked in for the final pick. And Caster Seda, tell me, what do you think about these team comps? What are you most excited for?
And they're both really exciting team compositions. The Orianna versus Xerath is going to be a very fun matchup to watch because of the trade potential of those two carries. And in the top lane, Rise and Gragas being able to toss out attacks and sustain with each other. Both of them sort of fulfill a similar role, sort of an AP utility top lane, trying to get some knockback, some snare, a little bit of AoE damage here and there. They're both going to be relatively similar, and it's going to be entertaining to see how those two go head to head. And of course, in the bottom lane, the Janna Lucian combo against the Corki Alistar. Man, I feel like this is season 2.
Yeah, you're totally right. Corki is one of those champions that, like we were saying before, all night tonight, actually, he's just always going to be strong. He has so much poke, so much survivability, and such a strong lane phase, especially partnered with something like that Alistar that does give them so much room to capitalize on errors. And we actually see him lock in that Ignite at the last second. So you definitely know what they're going for down there.
Yeah, kill lane.
Absolutely.
Though, again, the teams are loading into the Rift right now, so they can see those summoner spells being switched up, and I can only assume that their runes and masteries are correct as well. Now, let's take a little bit of time to compare the junglers. We've got a Jarvan versus a Vi. Neither of them are spectacularly good at clearing. They do have decent potential as fighters in team fights, but I think where they really shine is going to be their gank potential.
Yeah, the Jarvan level 2 gank, if he decides to go for something aggressive like that, is terrifying. That was a big Season 2 strategy that we used to see all the time. And at level 6, I'd have to give it to Vi just because the combo with the ball is so nice to see. It's such a great combo. Whereas with the Jarvan knockup, it's kind of easy to flash out of his ult. However, if he can force the flash earlier and come back and capitalize on that around level 6, most likely that's a guaranteed kill.
Typically it would be. Xerath doesn't necessarily have a lot of escape. We can see Hazed Lol in the mid lane taking both flash and heal, and the boy Choi also doing the same thing as well with a flash and heal for survivability. So it looks like we're at roughly identical summoner spells all across the board, except for on the supports. Firepower taking the exhaust, Remy taking that ignite like you pointed out. Now, What do you think C Knight on Vi is going to be focused on ganking? You mentioned there's a lot of power at that level 6, especially if he can burn a flash. Do you think he's going to go for the mid lane, the bottom, possibly go for an invade or look for the top lane?
I think the champion that has the least survivability in this game, in the easiest lane to gank, is definitely going to be that Xerath. And it also really helps to get him down early so you can punish him before he gets the items and is able to just kind of free farm and just clear the wave after wave with his Q. Um, and like we were talking about with the firepower Janna bot lane, it's so hard to gank a Janna, and I really don't think he's going to waste his time up there. Obviously, this all changes if a 1v2 situation happens to come out. However, it would be the first one we've seen in the NCSPA, and this early on, I don't know if the teams are really eager to reveal their strategies. I think they just feel like until they know which team they're going to be playing against, they just want to play it safe, play it standard, and just try and win through better teamwork and better laning skills.
And we'll have to see how those laning phases go, because I see a similar power curve for both of these teams. Both Corki and Lucian are relatively decent at the first couple of 5 levels, because you've got the Phosphorus Bomb and the double tap passive sort of equalizing each other out. Identical mobility supports aren't going to be making too crazy plays. Mid laners also going to be scaling similarly. Seems like these two teams are really evenly matched.
They are?
Was that a question? I think they are.
I think I misheard you. I was just wondering if it was they are evenly matched or are not.
They are indeed.
Yeah, I have to definitely agree with you. Sorry, I was gonna get right up in your face there.
Just like what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. No, this is gonna be a fantastic game. Gragas late game matches up really well with Ryze. Xerath and Orianna are both great late game. Both 80 carries don't scale that hard, and the super strong engaged jugglers coming out from both sides. Really, the only difference is just the Alistar and the Janna. One's all about getting in there, and the other one's all about getting you out. So it's really going to depend on the map movements and just the general laning phase, which each jungler can really accelerate a lane for one of their players and make them have such an impact, able to snowball the game. If they can't do that, it's going to come right down to the team fights, and it's pretty hard to give an edge to either of them.
Yeah, they're going to be some pretty entertaining team fights. A lot of AoE available from both of the teams. We're going to have to see how the Rite of Ascension matches up to the Shockwave from that Xerath versus Orianna matchup. There's not as much burst potential from the Rite of Ascension, but incredible range, which can allow him to pick people off who are running away from fights. He can also try to throw it down to disrupt objectives, try to steal a Baron possibly. I know that from the blue side, you can actually, at level 16, reach the Baron pit from the top inhibitor turret. All that far across the map, you can see all the way over there. If you don't even need vision and you just toss it out, try to go for a steal.
It's a crazy amount of utility. You don't think about it right away, but once you see a Xerath snag a Baron or snag a Dragon from halfway across the map, that's when you realize it's like that Ezreal ult, but even more satisfying.
The drag snag.
Yes, exactly. The drag snag.
The drag snag and the drag slide from Jarvan. And the Fnag rag from Janna. I'm just making up words now.
And the Grag snag from Gragas.
Oh, heyo!
Heyo! I've been working, man. I've been practicing.
You have. It's impressive. But regardless, we have loaded onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. We're now 25 seconds in for our first match of the West Coast Games for today. This is the National League of Legends Collegiate Series. On the blue side of the map, we do have University of Oregon taking on their opponents. That was, oh my god, I'm totally brain farting. How am I doing this?
UBC, man, come on.
University of British Columbia.
The Canadians. You know how happy I am to see these guys play.
The one and only Canadians.
The one and only.
Out of 16 teams, the one and only. But again, we're going to go ahead and run through the players real quick as they are in a defensive line. In the top lane, we're going to be seeing I'm Chase on Gragas in the jungle, the Thirst on Jarvan. Mid lane is going to be Hazed Lol on Xerath. In the bottom, Firepower and Lilief on Janna and Lucian, respectively.
I love that name. The Thirst in all caps.
The Thirst. He thirsts for blood.
Yep. Thirsts for that Corki down there.
I've already got some puns lined up.
Oh baby.
It's coming in quick, coming in hot.
All right, sure. Coming in hot.
We'll
Like
no, we'll see when we get into game. We'll get over there.
Okay.
But looks like we are seeing a delayed invade coming out from Remy, C9, and 4-inch Soft. Ward goes over the wall. I believe that is going to be spotted. I'm going to refer to him as 4-inch.
I honestly didn't take it in until you said it, and then I took a double take. But the cow and the airplane in the bottom lane. That's going to be an interesting one. Can't wait to see it.
Airplane, cow.
Yep, the cow plane.
Cow strike coming in.
Cow strike.
We need a cow strike at this position. Boom, Alistar Quirky. Cow strike dropped.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this lane goes because it is so dynamic. You don't see these kind of fights down here anymore. Not these. Oh, we got Alistar moving in. That's what I'm talking about.
He's going forward. Liliev taking just a few auto attacks from Quirky. Early health pots being burned away. Firepower using that very early Spell Thief's Edge to maintain some sustain.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much Janus play you've seen, but at least recently, all these Janus are pretty much getting their standard like Spell Thief upgrade, and maybe picking up their Sightstone and maybe another item like a cooldown boot, and then they just get a Medgize because they're going to be sitting in the back for most of the game, and they pick up a lot of stacks really quick, especially if their team's doing real well.
Yeah, I think this actually was Firepower who went with that Magi, who ended up with something like a 17 or 18 KDA, playing hyper-aggressive Janna, using the knock-up, then flash monsooning people back into her team. I think that was this Firepower.
Yeah, I think you're right, and what a Janna player he is. Uh-oh,
but a gank going on in the mid lane. C-Knight gets caught out. He dodges the knock-up, takes a quick shield to block some of that red buff damage, but that gank just got completely denied by earlier positioning from the Thirst.
Yep, that could have been real explosive, but it was really good play. Obviously just using post-Q. Knock up on 4-inch.
He's taking a lot of damage here. Double tap is going to find him once again. He's forced a Valkyrie out of there, and with only 20 health, he's probably going to have to recall relatively soon. There's a lot of dive potential, and with Flash Bell available, there it goes. Firepower going deep. He gets the exhaust and slow, but Remy nowhere close. Great play means that Liliev can't follow up.
Yep, that was fantastic by both teams, actually. Remy taking advantage of the Janna flash, not able to be interrupted, his headbutt not being able to be interrupted, and able to knock Liliev back. The real good thing about that was that the blue team, UO, was able to actually punish 4-inch Soft simply for Remy to going and ward. It was really good play by them, just to, with that 2-second advantage, just to absolutely push it home.
Yeah, and we can see 4-inch is having a little bit of trouble. Looks like there is a counter gank coming on from Fly. Knocked back under the turret. Firepower. It's knocked up by the attack exhaust. Ignite ticking down, but the shield is going to absorb some of that. C9 now trying to switch. Here comes the Thirst coming around. Remy is looking for the kill. He's not going to be able to find it. Gets knocked up as Liliev is running for his life. 4-inch Scythe can't go in. Does Remy has flash anymore? No, he does not. He's going to go down here trying to get something, but he is not going to be successful. First blood picked up by Liliev.
What a turnaround. That was crazy. Firepower, if he didn't land that Q, the way that he did, interrupting that buy Q, that was incredible. He would have been dead for sure. What an aggressive play coming out from Remy. We were talking about how aggressive Firepower was on his Janna, but it came back to bite him in the butt. And had he not made an incredible mechanical play, he would have been in a lot of trouble, and First Blood would have been over to UBC.
Yeah, but the huge counter gank came in. The Thirst, you could say that his thirst has been quenched as he went to pick up that kill. Oh, don't worry. There's a lot more where that came from.
Yeah, Thirst was in a fantastic position. Both junglers kind of thinking the same way. Oh, B-Joy getting beat up.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out here. There's no Ignite, though, so Hayes Lal is just going to be able to farm freely for a little bit. Here comes Remy from behind, plus another bank from behind. He gets him over the wall. Bit of a mistake, but C-Knight follows up. Heal is dropped as well. C-Knight looking to get the kill.
Flash.
Where'd it go? C-Knight is actually being dropped down. Look at the bait coming out from Hazelal. Remy is going to have to lead the line here because if C-Knight takes too much damage, he's almost certainly going to die. And now Hazelal is just running distraction. He's trying to buy time for his team. If possible, get the execute. He's actually using a health potion to try to get in there, but there's no flash from anyone. It happens. He gets the execution.
Wow. what a great play coming out of Hazelaw. A little bit of a misplay coming out of UBC, thinking the kill was secured. Not the proper communication to know that both of his summoners were up. However, 4inch is alone in that bottom lane, and we'll see if UO is able to punish him a little bit more while Remy sits in mid.
Yeah, this is a really odd position for Alistar to be. He's not protecting his AD carry. He's not trying to get that quirky fed. He's running around and looking for ganks. I like that he's playing a hyper-aggressive style, but he's only level 3, and leaving his AD carry so vulnerable like this could end up harming him later on.
Especially since he's not level 6. If he had his rockets, okay, he can farm from a distance, but not at level 4.
Yeah, a little bit of difficulty coming out from Remy, finally just getting level 4, but 4inch is having some trouble here. There's no way this fight is going to go in their favor as 4inch is exhausted. Double tap is going to find 4inch as the Valkyrie's out of this fight, while C-Knight and the Thirst as well are in position to try to go for some action in the bottom lane, but instead they're going to focus on clearing out a few buffs. Oop, but 4inch gets low.
And there's the flash to secure it. Really great play by Lilia. Remembering that both of the summoners were down on 4inch. And it seems like UBC is making all the right decisions. They're trying to set things up, but just a little tiny bit of misplay, or sorry, counterplay coming out of UO. Like that gank bottom that turned around against them, and the kill getting, oh wow, another kill for Lily.
Wow, aggressive play is going to reward him. Assault and Battery finding the wrong target. He was looking for firepower, but instead found Lilia because of that body stacking, and that's exactly what you were talking about. The play was set up, it was right there in front of him, but for not the first, not the second, but the third time this game. University of Oregon just barely eked out the most minutiae of an advantage and was able to take another little bit of gold lead.
Yeah, and he's coming up on 1,500 gold after he does these golems, which means he'll be able to pick up a BF sword on top of that pickaxe. I'm Chase, though, trying to punish Diegerger.
Oh, but here comes the Rite of Ascension. Diegerger is going to dodge 2 of them, takes 1. I'm Chase looking for some follow-up. Flash is going to slow him down long enough to allow Hazelaw to pick up another kill for University of Oregon.
UO is moving all over the map perfectly. They took the small advantages that they had and really just took it home. Like we were saying, the Thirst, all he needed to do was just kind of accelerate any lane that was doing well and then move on from there. I'm Chase getting that assist, probably allow him to pick up his Rod of Ages pretty soon, which is a great timing for him. And his teleport's still up, which allows him to make plays anywhere over the map, so he chooses.
And Remy clearing out a ward, going to try to find firepower out of position. No shockwave. Actually, there is a shockwave, but firepower just baiting it out. There's actually going to be a dragon attempt coming out from UBC. I like how aggressive they're being in taking this, but it's a little bit of a retaliation play. It seems rather desperate, and yeah, they should be able to get it, but that's just because of the lack of conscious positioning. Here comes a teleport. Hazelaw trying to catch C-Knight. A great monsoon from firepower with disruption. I'm Chase is going to look for it. A shockwave denies the barrel. Remy running for his life as he's only level 4. Here comes the Thirst, who's level 7, looking for a cataclysm. He finds TV Troy. He's going to be able to pick up this kill, and yes, that's Liliev on a rampage with his 4th kill of the game 10 minutes in.
UBC is in a sticky situation, like you said.
Yeah, it's really, really great attempt from UBC to take the dragon, but it was a desperation play. They had the damage to bring it down, but they didn't have the damage to follow up with the team fight. And afterwards, you can't run away from a Janna. She has so much movement speed. She has so much utility to provide as well. And that's the 3rd time this game we've seen Firepower go for those hyper-aggressive monsoons, not being used to heal, but being used to knock the enemy team into her own.
And this is setting up for another mid play, taking down that tower pretty much for free after that dragon. I'm Chase, though, in a little bit of trouble. Diegerger really showing him who's boss in this top lane.
Yeah, Diegerger is doing a good job of maintaining consistent pressure in the top lane, but he has to start capitalizing on it a little bit more. He has to start trying to take that turret. You can see he's about 30 CS of his opponent, but overall, he should be about even, oh, he's actually 500 gold ahead. So right now, Diegerger, he's doing a good job of continuing to keep Gragas pressured, but he has to start trying to push this advantage more. It's one thing to keep your opponent zoned away from the minions. It's another to be taking an advantage off of that zone.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm Chase knocking Digerger into himself, and you know I talked about him taking an advantage. I didn't mean it like that.
That's super unfortunate for UO, giving up his first kill of the game. I think that might go in the blooper reel.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mistake there. Digerger just leading the explosive barrel, just the right spot to throw himself into I'm Chase, riding the barrel, surfing the crest of that explosive cast, and picking up the first kill of the game for UBC. And we do have Vi on the bottom half of the map, but I don't think she's going to be able to go for a successful gank in that bottom lane. Take a look at the wards for University of Oregon. They have complete control over the river.
Yeah, it's true. There's not much that Vi can do anytime she tries to poke out. She meets a Jarvan just like that.
And we do have a little bit of trading in the bottom lane, but the collapse from Hazelall and the Thirst, they're looking to try to go for a potential 4-man dive and try to see if they can find Remy and 4inch caught unawares, though there is C-Knight in position. Teleport is not quite available yet for Digerger, so this could be a powerful play. The Thirst is going in. The Vault Breaker is tossed up, but the Thirst is going to follow down. Rite of Ascension is dropped. It's going to completely whiff, not hitting a single target. Culling, finding C-Knight. He uses Assault and Battery to jump on the firepower, but in the meanwhile, Lilith, with the enormous damage from the BF Sword, is able to pick up another kill. This is just slowly steamrolling out of control.
The thing about UO is not even that they have sight everywhere, it's that they're denying so much sight too. So many great pink wards able to just set up plays like that, and they're really praying it to UBC. They're in a lot of trouble. They need to do something.
Yeah, and we can see Remy doing what he can to try to defend the turret, but this is a really dangerous position. We do have Monsoon coming in from behind. 4inch Soft is going to go down as Lilith goes aggressive. He doesn't have his flash, so he's going to have to be really careful here. Looks like Remy trying to lead him, but he can't survive, and Lilith gets another kill. C-Knight is trying to follow up, but Lilith, way too far deep, is just running for distraction. He should be able to get the Relentless Pursuit off the cooldown in time to escape unless C-Knight can get the Vault Breaker. It's going to be charging up. No! The dash is instantaneous, and he's able to get out of there with his life as I'm Chase helps him out.
I was worried there'd be another bad Grog assault. Ian Light's got an opportunity here to still make something happen. He's got Rise to back him up. We'll see if they can make something happen.
Oh, look at Lilith right now. 7-0, 23 CS ahead of his opponent. He's got so much gold in the bank, currently sitting on a whopping 2,800. That's going to be finished Infinity Edge, level 1 and level 2 boots. And I think that could also be a Zeal on top of that, if I remember my maths right. And come on, do the maths. He's thinking. He's going to get the Zerker Greaves, and then he's got enough for the Zeal. He can do it. You can do it. I believe. Now he's just trolling me.
He was waiting for it.
Hey, there it is. Cool, so it's now 14.5 minutes in. There's an Infedge and Zeal on Lucian, who's at 7-0. That's 7 out of the 8 kills his team has. It's about a 4,000 gold lead in favor of University of Oregon, and British Columbia are barely hanging on.
A 7-0 Lucian before 15 minutes into the game. If you're UBC right now, you're panicking.
Yeah, you're sweating.
The only option they really have in this game at this point is to get an incredible wombo combo with Remy. With granted, he's had some great engages so far, but they just haven't worked out. And the only way that it will work out is if that Orianna picks up a bunch of AP and that Ryze gets big enough to follow up on it.
Yeah, we can see that Ryze is doing what he can in that top lane. He's still about 36 CS ahead of his lane opponent. 2-1-1, but the overall global gold objective is not really giving him that much of an advantage. It's only about 1,000 gold in favor of Digerger versus I'm Chase. And again, there is a good explosive pass. Digerger being denied from that turret. Remy on his way into the top lane with boots of mobility, not going to be able to follow up. But Dragon is about to happen, and it looks like University of Oregon might take the second Dragon. Well, actually, no, this is going to be their first Dragon.
They were the ones that tried to set it up last time, but it kind of bit them in the butt, and they weren't able to secure it. So that is their first Dragon, and also their first tower in the top lane. So good play by them, bringing them back into the game. The only issue is that this big gold lead is pretty much entirely... Oh, did he land it? No, he didn't. Okay.
It was close. I saw two.
The only problem is that all of the gold for UO is on their Lucian, their hyper carry. With that Janna protection, it's gonna be hard for them to kill him.
Yeah, and we can see Liliev even just going for harass damage. The amount of poke that UO have right now, especially with this 5-man collapse, is pretty phenomenal. They do have a Corki and an Orianna for wave clear. Hard engage from C-Knight and Remy. This is now or never for them. They have to get in quick while the turret's still at full health. It's just going to take one single optimal shockwave. Remy running around the line. He's going to be stunned down, taking some poke, and still no engage coming in as these guys are just waiting it out. UBC are just hesitating too much.
It's true. They need to make a play. I just don't know if they have the punch to follow up with it yet. That's what I'm worried about. Unless they can get a perfect shockwave on the Lucian and the Janna and the Xerath, I don't know if I see it happening, to be honest.
It is a pretty difficult situation that they now find themselves in. In solo queue, this is the sort of position where you would see people start blaming each other. Oh, top fed, oh, jungle didn't gank, stuff like that. Though, to UBC's credit, they are no longer crumbling anymore. They are starting to do the best that they can to withstand the amount of effort, the amount of pressure from the University of Oregon.
It wasn't like UBC was making really bad plays. It's just UO was kind of reacting perfectly to them.
I'm Chase. Oof. He was one pixel away from getting caught there. C-Knight gets obliterated as
Exactly like that.
He's 8-0. He's legendary. 18 minutes into a game. Infed, Zeal, plus another 1,400 gold in the bank.
It's not like that was a bad play by UBC. It was smart, catch the Gragas out of position, but it's just handled perfectly by UO. They just basically take every fastball that UBC throws and they catch it and throw it right back at them.
And they throw back a curveball.
Yeah,
just to make it even more confusing. And then you're like, wait, I just know that was not,
So,
nope.
Do you want to make a bet, Caster Seda? I got a feeling that Firepower is going to make some sort of crazy engage in the next 3 minutes.
3 minutes is a big window. Looks like that could happen now. He's caught out of position. Flash dodges the phosphorus bomb.
Or a crazy disengage.
Yeah, I should have taken that bet. As Firepower, he's at 0-1-6 right now. He actually, unfortunately, has died once, but he could be collapsed upon this time. Knockup goes down, knockback puts him into his team. He's going to be locked down. So much was blown to ensure his death, but it is quite necessary because right now UBC has got to take every single thing that they can get.
There was a lot of ultimates blown for that, and Xerath still has his. So, the flash initiate!
Shockwave goes down. Hazel is caught in the rune prison. Ignite ticking away. He heals to try to escape, but a lot of AoE goes down. Cataclysm denies the escape, and here goes C-Knight. He's going to be destroyed by the thirst. Rite of Ascension going to find TB Troy as well, but wow, what a great counter engage. It looked so confident coming out from UBC, but again, the counter engage and the counter play from UO is just on par this game.
That Cataclysm was so good. Alright, Jurger chasing.
And he's looking for Liliev, who is split pushing in the bottom lane, getting some free damage onto an inhibitor turret. Looks like the Thirst is going to try to follow up, and again, another whiffed cask, but I guess the cask doesn't matter too much when you manage to half health an inhibitor turret 19 minutes into a game.
I feel like the thing about this UO team is that because they have so much utility, so much knockup, so much movement, when you're at a high enough skill level, you're able to counter the aggression from these crazy mobility champions early, like the Alistar, the Bai, and the Corki, as long as you play it right. And that's exactly what they've done this game. They've played it flawlessly. This game is definitely competing with the game that we watched previously, the UCI and University of Connecticut game, where we were so impressed just by the level of teamwork coming out of this team that it kind of leaves you speechless. You know what I mean? It's just there's so many great plays being made that you're kind of at a loss of words for how the other team can come back.
Yeah, the individual skill coming out from University of Oregon in engaging, disengaging, stalling out fights is phenomenal. They're setting just about everyone up to follow up on their amazing plays. And we're now 21 minutes into the game. It's Ionian Boots of Lucidity on Liliev, in addition to the IE and Static Shiv, versus only the Trinity Force on 4-inch. This is a really tough position for UBC, and they need to stall the game out, get their carries fed, and try to take it to the late game, because if they try to continue going for any sort of mid-game fights, mid-game objectives, they're going to continue to slowly slip back.
Honestly, I feel bad for UBC because, like I said before, they have not played this game poorly. It's just UO making some crazy stuff happen to really just turn around almost every single one of these fights so far.
Yeah, I think you mentioned in Champion Select that Janna really powerful at disengaging. Firepower has been tossing out some amazing tornadoes. We've seen that he is able to deny Vi's Vault Breaker off of a single, I guess it's a double tap of the activation. He's just so confident on that support that he really should not be allowed to get it. Currently he's sitting at 0-2 and 6. Not got the Magi's just yet, as he's relying solely on vision, but finally we can see him start to build more effective items. Looks like he's not going for the Magi's this time, as he unfortunately has died a few times.
Yeah, he probably wants to play it maybe a little bit safe this game, wants to make sure there's no pros. Maybe he'll pick it up a little bit later, but I wouldn't be surprised if he chooses just to go for maybe a Morello Nomicon or something like that. Maybe even, what's that Chalice item called? Jeez, blanking.
Athens?
No, not the Athens, the support one. Mikhail's Crucible, that's the one.
Hey!
To prevent him from getting locked down by that combo CC by Dijurger after C-Knight actually locks him up.
You know, I just realized things are dire when you buy a Mikhail's Crucible for your support, because you don't have to worry about your AD carry going down. 8-0 still on that Liliev. Could possibly become 9-0, as we do see a few catches going out at the red buff. Dijurger engaging with I'm Chase. Explosive cast knocks Dijurger back into the wall, which he immediately flashes over, while C-Knight and Remy disengage from the other side.
I hope that UO actually closes this game out without going for a Baron, because that's the mark of a really strong team, a really smart team as well. You know that one of the biggest reasons teams lose are because of poor Baron plays, a Baron getting stolen, and them choosing not to do that and instead to siege until they know 100% that they've got the Baron secured is just the mark of a really good team. But here comes the TP and the engage.
Teleport coming in, C-Knight looking to go deep. He's able to find Liliev. Shockwave pulls him out of the way. Liliev is still alive. Firepower is going to trade his life right for Ascension. Trying to see if he can snipe Corki. He doesn't find it as heal goes in. C-Knight running for his life. Liliev takes a big amount of damage from the command attack and dissonance, and the disengage happens with UBC taking 2 kills for 0.
Yeah, a little bit surprising actually that UBC was able to do that. They're definitely still in this game, and that's why, like I was saying, UO can't risk a Baron. However, when they do that and they do decide to siege up all 5 groups like that, that's the perfect situation for UBC to hopefully get that Alistar engage like we just saw, or that TP engage coming out from Rise like that.
C-Knight able to find the Assault and Battery all the way to Liliev through the backline, who flash dash. Oh, he's going to find C-Knight for free. And, the flash keeps him out of the way of the Ardent Blaze, but now Liliev is going to go for the blue steal. He should have enough damage to get it. Here's Remy from behind. Boots of Mobility, definitely faster than the Boots of Lucidity, but he doesn't want to engage that. That's an 8-0 Lucian.
Yep, especially with his ultimate down. It's just not worth the risk at this point. There can't be any mistakes coming out of UBC at this point. If they want to win this game, they can't afford to make any errors at this point.
Absolutely. A single pick on TBC or 4-inch could definitely mean that UBC would lose an inhibitor turret, possibly even an inhibitor itself, as the capitalization on the smallest mistakes have been huge. And now here's Dijurger looking for I'm Chase. He's going to be caught by Firepower. The Monsoon is prepared as well if Chase goes low. Exhaust is dropped down. Explosive cast means Dijurger has nowhere to go. He is going to get dropped. Even the Thirst and Haze trying to follow up on that.
Unfortunately, because UBC is so scared, because they've been punished so hard for reaching outside of their base, even though 4 people go top, there's not much they can do about it. They can't push mid, they can't do anything. They just gotta sit tight and hope they don't get killed.
And we can see now that The top lane siege is resuming, this time without the assistance of Jai, so it should be a little bit more successful while Lilief split pushes in the mid lane. This is going to be the last tier 2 turret for UO, but Lilief in the mid lane, he does have an opportunity to try to put some damage onto that inhibitor turret before he gets collapsed upon, but Home Guard keeps it standing for now. We're 26 minutes into the game, and University of Oregon lead by about 8,000 gold. They're up 6 turrets to 1, 12 kills to 6, and Lilief is unstoppable.
A little bit of desperation coming out of UBC here. They know that they need to get sight on that Baron, otherwise they could get picked when they try and go face check it. So putting that Alistar in front and then just rushing into that jungle before UO is able to actually set up and set a trap for UBC.
I just want to point this out real quick. UO in the top lane, they saw Vi clearing a pink ward about a minute ago when they were rotating up there. They knew that that pink ward was going to be cleared the moment that they backed away, so Firepower dropped an additional ward in that exact same bush to maintain vision after the pink ward had been caught. That is really, really smart, and I had never thought to do that before.
It is. It's a very tricky play, especially because you don't think to use a red ward as a red trinket on the bush after you clear out the pink ward. However, there are pro teams now that are catching on to it. It has been done here and there, not very much, but if you watch, every so often they'll clear that pink ward and they'll drop that red trinket if they have a feeling. But to see it at this level of play especially is very impressive, and you can tell that these guys have been doing their homework.
Yeah, and we do have Dragon respawning in about 10 seconds with 4-inch all the way in the top lane. This could be another free Dragon going over to UO as they are surrounding the pit rather effectively, though there is a potential opportunity for an engage as finally 4-inch on the recall buys more components for his support. It's not going to be able to make it in time. Another Dragon goes over to UO as they patiently and slowly draw out their advantage further and further. But here's Firepower.
Yeah, I was ready for that flash engage. But he's going to play it a little bit safe. Not as crazy as he was last game.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I want to just say real quickly about that ward thing that we were talking about. It gives a lot of hope to NA players, because when you see challenger players like this and collegiate players like this making moves that really you only see Koreans doing, it gives you hope, you know, because it's a lot of improvement that our region has been seeing in the last couple of months, and it's a really good sign.
Mm-hmm. And of course, with Worlds approaching fast in the next few months, it makes for some very entertaining sets of games as everybody's pretty much on an even playing field. Not to mention the diversity in champion picks these last few weeks. I am so excited to be seeing that happen, but the turret siege begins. Remy looking for the counterflank. He's going to try to find Lilief. He does not, finding only the Thirst. A Shockwave brings him in, and the explosive cast knocking C-Knight away from Lilief, who's now dealing with Didrivir. The Thirst split off with C-Knight. Calling drops down, Firepower goes low. Monsoon to keep himself alive. Rite of Ascension trying to find C-Knight. He's not going to be able to find it. Didrivir hits a Targon shield, and nobody died in that fight.
Great Monsoon from Firepower, keeping his team in this game. No froze, getting blown up. Engage from Remy.
Oh, here's Remy trying to see if he can find I'm Chase. The Thirst gets caught. The Thirst is going to go down. No, he's barely alive. Running for his life here. I was 0 for 1 in favor of UBC.
And they held the turret, most importantly. For now, we do see Janna picking up that Mikhails. I called it. Hell yeah.
And he doesn't even need to use it on Lilief. Still 8-0.
I know. I don't think he's gonna die this game. I got a feeling.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. Well,
UBC has an opportunity to go for Baron here if they so choose.
I don't think they have the damage, though. The Blade of the Ruined King has only just been finished on 4-inch. He's got the Trinity Force as well, but I don't think he's going to really be able to shred targets until he finishes off the last Whisper in addition to that, if that's what he decides to go for. There is a lot of armor being built up for UO. They're starting to build offensive as they've completed their defensive, excuse me. They're starting to build defensive now that they've finished all of their offensive items like 10 minutes ago. So it's now 31 minutes into the game. Again, University of Oregon are going to look for the exact same inhibitor siege. It seems as though every time you siege an inhibitor turret, something goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, whoa, Diverger.
Oh, he's caught way out of position here, but Firepower doesn't have any follow-up from his team. The Thirst is making a beeline for him, trying to see if he can catch up. Lilief going down as well. The Flash Monsoon finds Diverger. He's going to be destroyed as Remy now jumps into the Cataclysm, uses the Unbreakable Will. Explosive Cast knocks him back into the team. I don't care how unbreakable your will is. It's not going to stand up to Lilief as he's now 10-0, and with both the tank and the top laner gone, that leaves a very squishy set of champions defending this inhibitor, and it is almost certainly going to fall with the next minion wave. And what are they doing? They're going the wrong way, guys! The Nexus is the other way!
That's the Firepower you know and love. Setting up that crazy flash engage. And it looks like they're going towards a Baron, all the way from the bottom side of the map over to that Baron. And to be honest, them not being able to close this game out is giving UBC the opportunity to come back in. Only 10k gold behind us, 31 minutes. Let's see if they can get this Baron.
Yeah, there is Smite available on C-Knight. Shield is going to be dropped, but the Baron is picked up, no problem. C-Knight is not going to chase that, potentially die just for going for a Baron steal. It would have been epic, I'll give you that. But UBC, they're playing it safe. They know that if they try to go for the steal and they fail, then it's really, really bad. But if they try to go for the steal, then it's okay. So really, it's sort of a prisoner's dilemma. One of those philosophical questions. Is it better to such and such, or is it better to so and so?
You're absolutely right, and I think for UBC, they haven't had their turtle shell cracked yet. They haven't gotten their inhibitor towers knocked down yet. They do regen, so they are in a good spot right now. And like we were saying before, since UBC hasn't actually been, pressured that hard, sure they've lost the Baron, sure they've lost almost all their towers, but they're still in it. There's still the possibility of a huge wombo, and it really could turn the game around. One ace at 35 minutes into the game has pretty long cooldown timers, death timers, and that's right down to your inhibitor.
Yeah, it seems almost as if UNO are starting to get a little bit afraid. They're up about 10,000 gold, 10,400 if you want to be specific. But every single time they go for a siege, something goes wrong. But finally, they were in a position to follow up on the perfect siege, destroying the front line of UBC.
Here we go.
But they didn't. They went for the Baron instead, and now they're going back in for yet another siege. And what a great disengage again from Firepower. He saw that C-Knight was getting close, and he said, nope, I don't want that to happen.
The wave clear coming out of UBC, it's just so safe. That's why Orianna's so good. They can't break this turtle shell, this defense that UBC has set up, unless they dive, and then they're committing a lot to this tower.
And finally, it looks like it might go down. Darksenator going in deep.
There it is!
Oh, wait for the shockwave is huge. Lilief is low. He's finally going to go down. Hazel running for his life with the Cataclysm, unfortunately locking the Thirst into the enemy team. That's not where he wants to be. A double kill by 4-inch Soft. They're at low health, but it doesn't matter. It's 5 versus 2. The slow finds Diverger. He's continuing to go, and look at the stagger coming out from Hazed and I Am Chase. They're running for their lives, knowing that there's no way they can fight this, and UBC, they turn it around.
Exactly what we were talking about. That crazy engage, that crazy combo coming out of Alistar and Orianna, and they all lived. 4-inch Soft had maybe 200 health at the end of that fight. The last rocket is what sealed it for him, and UBC still in this game. They've closed the gold lead to almost 8k now, and at 35 minutes, that's not so bad. They gave the first kill of the game to Lilief, and they're picking up a dragon too. Really good comeback from UBC. They're not completely out of the grass yet, but it's a really good start, and let's see what they can do from this point on.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for the bottom tier 1 turret, which is still standing 35 minutes into the game. C-Knight does not have a Randuin's Omen just yet, but they're a little bit slow clearing the wards as Firepower and Hazed are on their way with Lilief and the Thirst nigh in tow, and they're they're going to play it nice and safe. We see 4-inch and C9 running for their lives. Firepower is going to catch him, though. Finds the slow on 4-inch. This could very well be Firepower dying to try to get the kill on 4-inch. He's just running a defensive line, and C9 looking to escape with his life. I'm Chase going for a flank onto the side. If he can land the explosive cast, he can. This can be yet another kill. More damage finding C9. Right of Ascension is available. It's going to find one. Cataclysm locks him down. C9's going to go down as well. A great turnaround from UBC, but a follow-up kick from UO means that this could finally be the inhibitor turret. Not the first, not the second, not the third, but the fourth time it finally goes down. Remy picks up a kill onto Firepower. Shockwave finds IMJ's Lilief in the back line. He's taking a lot of damage, but is dealing it right back with the Sanguine Blade. Trying to find Diverger, who's nice and tanky at this point, while the Thirst is in the front line. He's trading with TBC, but he is going to be able to escape with his life, and just like that, the disengage.
Even though UBC makes these mistakes that really should lose them the game, having a Ryze that's super strong, an Orianna that's super strong, they're still able to hold on. It's incredible that they haven't actually lost their inhibitor yet. It took so long for UO to actually get that tower down, and really, it doesn't change anything at this point.
Yeah, finally, UO can try to take that inhibitor and secure more safety around the map. But you mentioned earlier that the turtle shell for UBC has not been cracked. Yes, it finally has been cracked, and UBC lay vulnerable, but nobody is capitalizing on it. That inhibitor is still standing. It's like opening up a lobster tail and then just staring at the meat. There's no follow-up, and as long as that inhibitor is still standing, that turtle is still feeling pretty comfortable. And look at Firepower just buying time for his team. He's kept that turtle alive for so long.
Mentally, this is really good for UBC. They know that they can win team fights. They might want to contest the next Baron, since they've seen how well their team fighting has gone. And for UO, they're terrified. Lilief is probably thinking to himself, I have 12 kills, 275 farm, and I still can't kill this Ryze with 2 kills. Yeah, what's going on, guys?
It's getting pretty wonky. We're approaching that hyper carry late game stage where TB Choi and 4-inch are going to be able to keep up with the damage from that 12-1 Lucian, the damage from that 2-1-10 Xerath. Just amazing play all around. And as though there is about an 8,000 gold lead in favor of UO, that actual value of the gold is dwindling more and more as time goes on. Big items have been picked up by UBC. They're finally able to trade more effectively. I think they might even be able to contest this Baron fight.
You're absolutely right. Since that inhibitor in the bottom didn't go down, they've got 40 seconds to push that wave out and get over to that Baron and make one of their final stands. If they can secure a team fight in that situation, with the way that their fights have been going, they really do have a lot of potential to turn it around and switch the siege back on UO, and it'll be up to them to see if they can have the same kind of incredible defense that UBC has had up to this point. However, they've switched their attention to the bottom inhibitor, and it looks like they've caught the team off guard.
Yeah, I love this play coming out from UO. They're finding the empty inhibitor. Firepower gets caught. He's going to drop the Monsoon to keep himself alive instead of the utility. Remnant coming from behind, finds Hazel. Culling is going to find only Remy, but he's got the unbreakable will. Cataclysm on the C-Knight. He's soaking the damage. Finally goes down while Remy goes deep, but his will has worn off. Shockwave is able to pick up only Firepower, but TBC is not going to be able to toss out enough damage. Diverger, double shield, is going to be able to walk away with his life unless the Rite of Ascension finds him. It's going for TBC, and he doesn't get the snipe, narrowly out of range, but the Thirst is thirsty. He's looking for something to drink. The blood of his enemies will do, but for the time being, it's going to have to be an inhibitor.
4-inch is still up. He can come back. The Orianna with home guard does get the shut down onto the Xerath. Depending on the way that this chase goes, they do have quite a few options to make a retaliation. However, that inhibitor did go down in the bottom, and that'll make Baron difficult for them. They're still on that chase, though. We'll see if they can pick anything up. They really do need to get that vision control.
I think that for the time being, UO and UBC are relatively close to each other. It's 40 minutes into the game, only about a 7,000 gold lead in favor of UO, but we've been watching that number slowly dwindle. And now, actually, there is a Baron attempt going down. No takey frontliner, but the wards are being cleared. This is all of the DPS for UBC, and UO now teleporting in. We can see I'm Chase trying to get there as quickly as possible, and the disengage happens. It's a little bit of Baron tickling, finding UBC. They're going to have to be careful unless they find I'm Chase out of position. This is the first time in, I don't know, I'd say about 25 minutes that we've seen UBC go on the offensive and make a play instead of reacting to a play.
We need to remember how good UO was moving around the map in the early game now. So, and now that they have that inhibitor down in the bottom, they really do have a lot of potential to use their really great map movements to set up a proper Baron play here. We see Rise in the bottom, he does have TP available, and the culling trying to use for poke, unfortunately doesn't hit anyone, but here's the TP.
Teleport coming in from behind. There's going to be nothing stopping this. C-Knight goes in through the pit. Tidurger takes a lot of damage. He gets destroyed before anyone can follow up. C-Knight going to go down as well. Shockwave is dropped. C-Knight is still standing. The Baron is actually going to pick that one up as Remy knocks Lily up into the pit. He's taking more damage from the Baron than from his opponent, while TBC is taking a lot of damage from Gragas. Zonya's stalling out, but there's nothing that can save him. He is destroyed by Xerath. Absolutely burned to cinders. That was 0 kills for 3 in favor of UO, and the thirst. Do I even have to say it? He's thirsty.
4-inch Soft getting away with his life there. We'll see if they can clear these minions out of their base, but it's getting down to the wire. The thirst is thirsty, and he's going for that 4-inch Soft. We'll see if Firepower can make another crazy engage to seal this game. Otherwise, it looks like UO is going to take this home.
Yeah, it's 33 seconds until Rory on his backup. Remy in the front line, Unbreakable Will, keeping him up for now. He's able to get one on the Firepower while 4-inch is baiting around the edges of the fight. If he can stall out long enough for Rise to get back up, no! He falls, that's an ace. The 2 Nexus turrets fall. The Nexus itself is going to go down, and UO finally are able to clear this match. 42 minutes and 8 seconds in, they take the win.
A valiant defense coming out of University of British Columbia, however, and if that teleport had gone maybe a little bit different for Dijurger, we could still potentially